If you are interested in healthy eating, chances are you've heard about macronutrients, and chances are you have some questions about them, like what they are, what do you need, why do you need them? And in this episode of the podcast, we're going to give you a macronutrient 101 course to help you know the absolute basics, the Cliff's Notes of what you need to know about macronutrients as you pursue healthy eating as a piece of your complete health picture. Tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, guys? I am Coach G, one of the coaching team here at CrossFit Edwardsville, and in this short episode of the podcast, I'm going to give you a basic primer, a 101 course on macronutrients, what they are, why you need them, why they're important to you as you begin a healthy eating journey or as you seek to augment your understanding of healthy eating. And I'll start by outlining that the basic macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And we call these, excuse me, we call these macro, because they're needed by the body in relatively large amounts compared to your micronutrients like your vitamins, your minerals, your vitamin A, D, E, and K, etc., vitamin Bs. Those are the micronutrients. The macronutrients, though, you need these in larger amounts, larger proportions relatively. And the three macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and dietary fats. I'm going to start with the proteins, then go to dietary fats, and finish up with carbohydrates, which are probably the most misunderstood of the three macronutrients. So, starting with proteins. Your protein macronutrients are essential for building and repairing tissues in the body. They are made up of amino acids, some of which the body can produce, like your non-essential amino acids, the body can produce those, and then others which must be obtained dietarily. Those are called your essential amino acids, as in they are an essential inclusion in your diet. Proteins are crucial for maintaining muscle mass, supporting immune function, and producing hormones and enzymes. This is why it's such a big deal in fitness worlds, because we want to know that all the work we put into the gym is going to produce that lean muscle tissue look that we both want and need if we're going to be our best selves. Foods that are rich in protein include your meats, your poultry, fish, eggs, dairy products, legumes, nuts, and seeds. So that's proteins. Next, dietary fats. Fats are another source of energy and are vital for various bodily functions. They're important for absorbing your fat-soluble vitamins. I referenced these earlier, your vitamins A, D, E, and K. So in order for your body to actually use vitamins A, D, E, and K that you get dietarily, you have to have dietary fat, because the dietary fat is actually a piece of the process of metabolizing those. But dietary fats also protect your organs, they insulate the body, they provide a concentrated source of energy. Your healthy fats, well, as they're commonly known, I guess I put that in quotes, like your monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, those fats are found in foods like nuts, seeds, avocados, fatty fish, and they are beneficial for heart health. However, there are some people that believe that excessive consumption of quote unhealthy fats, like your saturated fats or your trans fats that are found in your fried foods, your baked goods, your processed snacks, some people believe that maybe that leads to some risk of heart disease or increased risk of heart disease or other health problems. Although those assertions have become less and less credible given our evolving understanding of healthy eating. And we could do more of a deep dive into this in different podcasts, but for the purposes of our macronutrient conversation, that's what you need to know about the second macronutrient dietary fats. Number 1, protein. Number 2, fats. Let's go to number 3, maybe the most controversial of all, carbohydrates. Carbs are the body's primary source of energy. They're broken down into glucose. So when your body breaks down carbs, it breaks down into glucose, and that fuels our cells, particularly those in the brain and the muscles. Carbohydrates also play a role in regulating blood sugar levels and supporting digestive health. Your sources include your fruits, your vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, but not just fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Where a lot of people, I think, have a misunderstanding about carbohydrates is that they don't recognize that vegetables and fruits are primary sources of carbs. When they think carbs, they're thinking your breads, your cereals, your rices, your pastas, your carbohydrates that come in a box, that come in packaged ways at the grocery store, all the stuff from the center aisles, and they look at carbs as a bad thing. And I would definitely reinforce the idea that your processed carbohydrates, the long or infinite shelf life carbohydrates from the middle part of your grocery store, are definitely harmful agents when it comes to getting the absolute most out of your eating. And those processed carbohydrates, you should absolutely be avoiding those. But not all carbohydrates are bad, and not all carbohydrates are created equal. The kind of carbohydrates that you get from your fruits, your vegetables, for example, you need those to function. Or at least the simplest way of describing it is you need those to function and you want them. And having a complete and balanced dietary picture for most people is going to include at least some level of vegetables and fruits in order for you to function at your best. And I recognize that there could be good arguments made in favor of carnivore diets, but for the purposes of this conversation today, that tells you what you need to know about carbohydrates. Now, perhaps you have more questions about macronutrients. How much do you need? How do you get them? How do you time out the intake of these? And nutrition coaches can help give you the guidance that you need when it comes to that. If you want to talk to a nutrition coach, you can book a time with us at CrossFitEdwardsville.com. We'd be happy to discuss what your unique health picture looks like. But for now, we'll leave it at that. This has been your short overview and primer, your 101 course on macronutrients. We thank you for the gift of your time and your attention, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast.